What's up, everyone? This is Kross, aka Adam, back with my NXT Takeover 30XXX results, review, reactions. So I watched it last night. Pretty good pay-per-view overall. Obviously there was some things here and there that weren't exactly great, but there were some really great matches. Sorry, someone is revving a motorcycle or something outside, and I gotta keep the window slightly open because it's hot as hell and I can't keep the AC on. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. Check me out. I obviously have my SummerSlam predictions just up this morning. I'll be doing a SummerSlam results reaction. I got to do my AEW weekend review because Dynamite was last night. Also did a bunch of things for DC Fandom. So some of the I did my trailer reaction for the Batman trailer. I might do another video if I have some time. But it actually ran off really well. But anyway, you're here because of Adam Cole Baby and the rest of NXT. So I'm going to go through it, go through my confidence points, how I didn't do all right, middle of the road. So we're just going to jump straight into it. So we get on the pre-show. The only match on the pre-show was the triple threat number one contender for the tag team title. We have Breezango, Legado del Fantasma of Wilde and Mendoza, and Burch and Lorcan. Let's see what I had here originally. So my shoot prediction was Burch and Lorcan, just because I thought Breezango and LDF would cancel each other out. I did want Breezango to win. I had 3 confidence points on that, so let's just go through it. No fancy entrance for Breezango. They were kind of all business here. Santos Escobar came out with Mendoza and Wild, but didn't stick around. Fandango with a razor's edge sends Wild to the outside. We get Fandango and Lorcan slugfest. Mendoza with a huge top rope tornado to the outside on Fandango and Lorcan. That was actually really sick. We get an assisted DDT by Burch and Lorcan on Wild. Mendoza breaks up the pin. That's kind of their finisher, I believe. Standing Spanish fly by Mendoza on Breeze. 450 by Wild, but Burch and Fandango both break up the pin. Eventually Breezango with the Tyler Breeze with the supermodel kick on Lorcan for the win. It was kind of out of nowhere though, but it was actually a really good match. But the finish came really out of nowhere. Tyler Breeze, I felt like, was barely in the match. It was mostly Fandango was doing most of the work. But Breezango won a number one contenders match, I believe, like a month ago, and then they lost. So I'm not sure what they're going to do here. I know Imperium, because they did give Imperium kind of a video promo at one point during the pre-show. I do know that NXT UK will be back, which we find out later on in mid-September. So I don't know what the travel restrictions, travel plans are. Sorry, I just put my phone on silent because I know it's going to ring at some point. So I don't know if Imperium is actually going to go back there, and so that would, obviously they can't take the titles with them because then, who knows when they'd be able to come back. So I'm guessing that Breezango might take the titles off them, and then they can feud with LDF. So we'll see. Okay, so then we get to the main show. We get Vic Joseph and Corey Graves on the desk with Beth zoomed in. No Morrow. Apparently, he was unavailable for it. You could definitely tell that some of these things, because there's no actual fans, and just the NXT recruits, and they're basically told what to cheer for and what not to cheer for. Someone like Morrow, especially for like the ladder match, I mean, just him selling whatever the action going on is really helpful. Not to say that Corey and Vic and Beth did a bad job, just Morrow brings that extra intensity to the matches, which I really like. So let's see. Our first match was Finn and Thatcher. So this one was made after I did my video, so I kind of just tweeted about it that I was picking Finn for both, only giving it 1 point of confidence on that. Because had I known, obviously it might have, I would have been pretty confident about Finn taking this, so it would have affected all the other numbers. So just to avoid messing everything up after I had already done it, just gave it 1 extra point. So Finn trying to work like a mat style with Thatcher, which is obviously nothing you see very often. Damn, these cars in the background. I don't know. It's like Sturgis rally over here. You don't really see that from Finn, but obviously, he is a good mat wrestler. Obviously not as good as Thatcher. Thatcher is one of the best, but Finn's very aggressive. Thatcher's able to counter. We get Thatcher with a Kimura lock. So I'm going to see if I can get my mouse working here. And if you hear screaming, it's my stupid asshole downstairs neighbor. So we get Thatcher with a Kimura, then he pulls the other arm back, kind of like a Rings of Saturn variation, but then he kind of lets it up. I don't understand why. I mean, the Kimura lock is pretty much guaranteed win, so I don't know why, for Jesus, this is really annoying. Finn with the Pele kick, but barely gets it, but they're both down. Takedown stomp by Finn. He misses a coup de grace and kind of sells the leg. Thatcher puts him in the single leg crab. Finn is able to get to the ropes. Thatcher with an enziguri, then a German suplex. Eventually, Finn hits the coup de grace, then the 1916 for the win. Obviously, this is good for Finn. He needed the win. It's what I predicted, what I thought, what I wanted. But at the same time, I'm kind of figuring, like, what are they doing with Thatcher now? It's kind of like he's getting into these, feuds with people, but he's just losing. So, aside from Riddle, I don't know what he's really doing. Bayley and Sasha in the crowd. Then we get the North American title ladder match. Damian Priest, Bronson Reed, Johnny Gargano, Cameron Grimes, Velveteen Dream. This was a great match. It was just wild. Obviously, I think that with either Morrow and or a crowd, it would have been even better. So we find out that Bronson Reed is getting a little repackaging. He's now known as Colossal Bronson Reed as opposed to Thick Boy. He's got a new song, new gear, which is inspired by Bam Bam Bigelow, which looked pretty cool. So we get Dream hits the famous around Johnny. Grimes grabs a small ladder, which I thought was a bit of comedy, which is kind of funny. Johnny slingshot speeder on Grimes. We get Johnny almost razors edged by Damian Priest, but he gets out of it. Grimes knocks Priest and Dream off a ladder, split on the ladders. He gets split on the ladders because he tries to climb both and they pull it. Reed hits a senton on the ladder with Johnny and Dream under it, which is pretty rough. Dream, Grimes, and Johnny kind of ally themselves to get to the two bigger guys. We get like one of those big superplex, German suplex, powerbomb, where everybody but Johnny was involved off the top rope. Priest gets really close to it, but is knocked down. He does a disaster kick that takes out the legs of Dream while he's on the ladder. That was pretty cool. Johnny catches Priest with a super kick in the back when he tries to do a flip off the middle rope. Dream launches ladders at the plexiglass, which I thought was really dangerous because the plexiglass is not that thick. Grimes hits a collision course on Johnny on the outside, which looked pretty sick. Bronson with a suicide dive. Priest with up the ladder does a tope con hilo on a bunch of them. Candice then comes in to stop Grimes, slaps him off the ladder. Then Johnny and Candice do like an assisted Rana off of on Grimes, who was on the apron, onto everybody else, which I thought was pretty cool. And then Bronson Reed's up on the top. He's about to get it. Then Candice gets up on the ladder, jumps on him, is on his back. Johnny has already been knocked off the ladder at this point, and then Reed does a splash with Candice on his back, which is one of the crazy spots. Looked great. Just destroys everybody. We get a ladder set up on the rope through another ladder. Dream is about to do a Rainmaker, then realize he's by the belt, which I thought was kind of funny. It's like he's about to do a purple Rainmaker off it, and he's like, oh wait, it's right within my grasp. Grimes barely hits the cave-in on Priest. Powerbomb onto the ladder by Johnny. This is where he does like the flip over powerbomb. He's done this to people on the off of cages and stuff, but Grimes just grazed the ladder. It looked really rough. We get a Death Valley driver onto Priest, onto a ladder. Dream set into the crowd through a table, so like the ladder's pushed over, he hits the top rope and then does a flip over the barricade through a table. He was done for the rest of the match. Grimes through a ladder and takes Reed off. The belt knocks Grimes off with him and Johnny fighting for it. There's then a tug of war between Johnny and Priest. The belt is now off and kind of just, between them, they're playing tug of war. Johnny slips off and Priest wins. Damian Priest is the new North American champion. He's just loving it, really excited. Right result. I had Grimes as my shoot, Gargano as my kayfabe, but I said, in my thing that Priest and Grimes were my top faves. I just went with Grimes because I just thought he'd be the more obnoxious person to pick. Only 1 point of confidence on that one, though. But we see some more from Damian Priest later on, which I'll get to. We then get Cole versus McAfee. Pat does a pre-match promo. He's got the greatest leg in the history of legs. Kind of stupid gear, just kind of like tank top and like a kind of form-fitting tank top and shorts. Crew comes down with him, even though I was told that they wouldn't be. So we're in the match. Cole hits a fake super kick, sends Pat to the ground. He's kind of nervous, kind of shook. He's not letting Cole get any momentum because he keeps just trying to, run to the ropes. Let's see what we got here. And then the Undisputed Era comes out. There's a big kind of hullabaloo between all of them. Pat slips away, does a senton off the top rope through everyone, which was really impressive. We were like, okay, now it's starting to look like he'd been actually training. Pat takes advantage back in the ring. Cole had enough. He takes advantage, hits the Ushigoroshi for only a 2 count, does a backstabber, but the thing Pat did, Pat like jumped with him instead of just like falling back. It was kind of funny, but it was only, let's see here, 2 count for that. Cole crotched on the top rope though, and then Pat goes up on it. This is where the match was like, this is one of my favorite moments of the match. So Cole gets crotched on the rope. Pat goes up there trying to hit a superplex. Cole pushes him, and Pat McAfee does a full fucking backflip, lands on his feet, and then that moment where Pat's like, and then Adam Cole's like, what the fuck? Then Pat does a straight up box jump, 4 feet, on one leap onto the top rope, hits the superplex, and then, but only for a 2 count. Pat kicks the steps on the outside, and then back in the ring, Cole hits a super kick to the knee, then a figure 4. Pat tries to roll over to reverse the pressure. Cole rolls right over that, and then eventually Pat gets to the ropes. Pat's still talking trash, come get me, that's all you got, you little punk, or something like that. While the ref is distracted, he gets a kick to the balls, punt to the face, but Cole is actually able to kick out. Pat to the top, catches a super kick, and then Cole's about to do the last shot, but he says, "Nuh-uh, I'm not going to do that." We get to the Panama Sunrise. Pat McAfee sells a Panama Sunrise. Now, I did think it was a little ridiculous because he got up and he kind of walked over like this, to try and, even though I just showed you my bald spot, it was a little too much setup, but still, the fact that he took the Panama Sunrise was awesome. So, obviously, Adam Cole, Bay gets the win, as I predicted he would, but Pat McAfee really sold me on this. This was awesome. I had 4 points of confidence on this. Both shooting kayfabe were for Cole, but Pat, you know what? If he wants to continue wrestling, I would be totally down for that. So we get Drew on commentary, pops in, says he picks Keith Lee. We then get the North American title. Not the North American title. I'm sorry. We get the women's title. Dakota Kai versus Eero Shirai. This was a fantastic match as well. Kai's kicked so hard, she flipped. Raquel with the distraction. Kai sends Eero into the post. 619 misses. Eero pump kick off the apron. Another stiff pump kick by Kai for a 2 count. Kai with the variation armbar submission. Eero gets a big uppercut palm strike to get some momentum finally. Hits the 619 springboard missile drop kick for a 2 count. Kai hits a scorpion kick. We get 3 running knees by Eero, and then the Del Rio stomp, which I always hate because it's just like you're hanging there. It makes no sense. We get the chiropractor into an armbar by Kai. Eero gets to the ropes. We get the GTK by Kai, but Eero gets a foot on the ropes during the pin. Ref gets kicked in the face by a face wash kick by Kai. Hits a German suplex and a moonsault, but no ref is there to count for Eero. Raquel comes in, does the one-arm powerbomb, tosses the ref over, but only gets a 2 count. We get another GTK attempt by Kai, but it gets converted into a crossface. We get Kamigoye by Eero. Takes out both on the outside with a moonsault, but moonsault looked rough. Looked like she kicked, what's her name, in the face, Raquel in the face. We then get a second moonsault for the win with the ref, able to do the slow count. It was a fantastic match. Raquel with the post-match attack. Ripley's music hits. Instead of doing her usual, like the stomp and doing the pomp and circumstance, which she always does when she's supposed to be doing a run-in, which makes no sense, she just goes to the ring. They get a stare down between Raquel and Ripley. Kai pulls her away. I did think this was interesting because obviously Mercedes Martinez and Ripley are supposed to be having a feud. She wasn't involved. I was waiting for her to do a sneak attack on Ripley, kind of like, you have to get through me before you even go to Raquel. But there was no Mercedes. Maybe she's still selling the fact that she got murdered on a powerbomb. But I did like the visual at the end. So we see Eero kind of celebrating in the ring, And then in the background you see Ripley like standing on the ramp, just kind of staring her down. Really cool, and obviously because of the fact that she was dressed in all like kind of like really light white. Her hair is bleach blonde. I think she was wearing white contacts. Even it looked really cool. So we get the promo about NXT UK being back on the 17th. We get Ciampa returning this Wednesday, so there was my possibility of Ciampa being involved in any of these matches. And obviously, if he's returning on Wednesday, does that mean he's not rumored to be in Retribution? I don't know. We get Cesaro in the crowd. We then get Priest celebrate. This was kind of funny because Mackenzie Mitchell goes over to like interview him coming out of his car. And, he's celebrating, and then he just jumps in a hot tub with two women, leather pants on. He's popping bottles, but it's like, where was this hot tub, located? And if it was located in the parking lot, why did Priest drive over there? Or unless he parked there earlier and was just grabbing something from the car. I just didn't make any sense. It was funny, though, that Triple H posted on his Instagram. He usually posts a picture with anyone who becomes a new champion, so he does like the point. So he did it in the hot tub, so Priest and the two women were in the hot tub, and he's kind of outside, kind of pointing to him. I thought it was really funny. So we then get our main event, the NXT title, Lee versus Kross, and just an absolute hoss battle. We get a great video package for the lead up, which you've seen over and over again. Lee is all over him to start. Lee hits a fun splash. I did hear someone go, "Bask in his ass," from the crowd. I didn't know what that was for, but I just thought it was funny. Kross takes advantage on the outside. Lee reverses, knocks the plexiglass out with a punch. Kross is actually liking what he sees. Lee gets his arm thrown against the post. An arm wringer takedown to the mat by Kross. Lee sent shoulder first twice into the post. Armbar attempt, but Lee locks his hands. We get a powerbomb from one arm by Lee. Power slam by Lee. There's a bad DDT by Kross for a 2 count. Then it goes into a slugfest, a lariat by Lee. Both are down. Finally, Kross hits the Doomsday Saito for a 2 count. Hits the cross jacket, but Lee fights back to the ropes. But this was weird because this was one of those things where so many times now, and this goes to like WWE rules and regulations or whatever, it's like sometimes when a guy's knocked out, the ref just goes one little wiggle of the arm, it's out, it's over. This one was like, he's out, he's out, he's out. One more attempt, and then he does it, and then the arm comes up. It's like it's either you do the 1, 2, 3, and that's it, or he's dead, and that's it. You can't. You have to. It has to be one or the other. Just do the 1, 2, 3 with the arms, unless he's completely like you're trying to make it scary, like that he's knocked out. We get the spirit bomb finally by Lee for a 2 count. Both fight to the top. From the second rope, we get an avalanche Doomsday Saito for the win. For Kross, so he is the new NXT champ. Unfortunately, we find out that he may have separated his shoulder from the call from the post-match call with Triple H. Hopefully, that's not anything serious, but that could be really sucky for him to win the championship and then have to give it up. But it did come kind of out of nowhere. I mean, I feel like there was just some things lacking in this match. Kross is not exactly. I don't think he's the best wrestler. I do think he's a decent worker. I think he's very expressive in the ring. I think Lee, obviously, there was no selling of the effects of the eye thing. I guess he was completely fine with that. No Dijak, even though he was kind of featured in the video package, which lends me to believe that he is going to be a big part of Retribution. So overall, good pay-per-view, some good matches. I do think, obviously, the no crowds are really starting to make their impact on these matches. I think Morrow could have been there and maybe brought a little more excitement. But overall, pretty decent. I don't know about setting up a lot of storylines. I think this kind of closed out a bunch, so hopefully going forward we can open up some new stuff. I do know that there's a rumor of a draft coming up and that NXT might be involved in that, so that would be interesting. So let me know what you think. I had, hold on 1 second, actually. So for this one, so for Io Shirai, I had 5 points of confidence on that. I only had 2 points of confidence on the NXT title match because I thought it could go either way. But I did have Lee going, so I didn't get any points on that. So overall, I was about middle of the road. I think 10, about 10 out of a possible 20 something. Not very good. So anyway, let me know what you thought. Let me know how your prediction stacked up. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. I'm going to try and get my AEW weekend review out, as well as my SummerSlam reaction review on tomorrow. So as always, be safe, love each other, and bye now. I can't believe I almost forgot to give my match of the night. That obviously has to go to Pat McAfee and Adam Cole. One, because I am a huge Adam Cole mark, but also because I had very low expectations going into this match, and they far exceeded it. Pat McAfee, we already could tell that he's great on the mic. We've seen that over the past couple of weeks. We knew he was training. We know he's an athlete. We know he's fairly young. I'm obviously older than him, which is weird for me. But, I had no idea. The senton, the backflip, the box jump onto it. The worked punches look great. The selling of taking the Panama Sunrise. I mean, this was one of the best non-wrestler wrestling matches I've seen. I mean, Stephen Amell is one of my favorites because I'm also a mark for him. So I think the two of them would have a fantastic match together. I do believe Amell has said that he's no longer going to wrestle, at least not in a singles capacity. But I think right now, obviously, all bets are off with everything going on. But in general, maybe one day he'll do something for AEW. I hope he does. But anyway, Pat McAfee was great. I really actually hope he does come back and decide to do more. I think the exposure for this in the sports world will be really cool. Bye now.